Morning dear students, Deepali ma'am here. I am starting with lesson number 2, nutrition in living organisms, that is animals and human beings. Previously we had studied about plants, now we are studying about animals and ourselves, that is human being. First of all, we have studied about autotrophs and heterotrophs. Auto was self-preparation, who are doing self-preparation of the food. Heterotrophs, that are we human beings as well as animals who depend on plants for their food. Now comes the mode of intake of food. All living organisms have different mode of intake of food. We have mouth to take our food inside. Some have, like elephant has trunk to take the food. Sparrow has beak to take the food. Snake has different type of thing to take. It sucks the food. So different animals have different mode of intake for food. Food habits of animals. There are different food habits of animals: herbivore, carnivore and omnivore, that you all know. Human beings are omnivore, who can eat herbivore also as well as carnivore also. Now modes of nutrition we had discussed before: saprotrophic, parasitic and holozoic mode of nutrition. Saprotrophic mode of nutrition, in which organism takes its nutrients from the dead and decay matter. For example, parasites, which take their nutrition, means which take their food from dead and decay matter. That is mode is called as saprotrophic mode of nutrition. Parasitic mode of nutrition, in which organism obtains the food from the living organism. This we have discussed in the previous class also, which take the food from the living organism. For example, head lice, which sucks the blood from the human beings and it stays in the hair of the human beings. Holozoic mode of nutrition, in which human beings as well as amoeba, unicellular and multicellular, they eat the food either in the solid state or liquid state. The food is taken to the body, digested, required energy is taken and then waste product is thrown out. So these are saprotrophic, parasitic and holozoic modes of nutrition. Now we will talk about human beings mode of nutrition as well as about amoeba. There are different types of nutrition, as well as we will talk about the herbivorous animals also, how they take the food and what happens inside the body. First we will talk about human beings. Human beings food process starts from the help of ingestion. Ingestion means we are taking the food to the mouth. Mouth is having a buccal cavity. Buccal cavity, in which teeth is present as well as tongue is present. Then comes the second process after taking the food, digestion. Digestion means to change the food into simpler forms with the help of enzymes. The process of digestion starts in the buccal cavity and is completed in small intestine. Then comes the absorption. The digested food is absorbed by the small intestine walls, where it is passed to the blood. Small intestine walls are absorbing and the energy is sent to the blood. Assimilation means taking it together. The absorbed food is utilized by the body for the growth and formation of body parts. Means when the food is absorbed, it is used to make the body parts strong. Egestion means throwing out of the waste products. Excretion of the waste products is called as egestion. Then comes the alimentary canal. We have glands also inside for the process of digestion: salivary gland, liver as well as pancreas. These are the three main glands which help in the process of digestion. Salivary glands are present in buccal cavity, liver above the stomach or near the stomach, pancreas below the stomach. Here I have made the flow chart for the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal consists of for the whole process of digestion. Buccal cavity means mouth, means teeth and tongue. Food pipe, which is also called as esophagus. Stomach, which is having the glands called liver and pancreas. Buccal cavity is having salivary glands. Small intestine, where the process of digestion ends. Large intestine, rectum and anus are responsible for excretion. Now we will first of all start with buccal cavity. Buccal cavity is what? It is present in the humans as well as animals, in which it is the type of mouth in which teeth and tongue are present. Teeth we have of four types: incisor, canine, premolar and molars. Incisors are used for cutting of food, canines are used for tearing of food, Premolars and molars are used for grinding of foods. Inside the teeth, on the top layer we have a shiny protective material which is called as enamel. The white colored teeth on which we do the brushing of the teeth, that is called as enamel. Adult humans have 32 teeth, 16 in upper jaw and 16 in the lower jaw. Humans develop two sets of teeth, milk teeth and permanent teeth. The milk teeth are in the beginning of the age, and permanent teeth which are lasting lifelong or up to the age of 50 years sometimes. Then comes the tongue. Now tongue is a muscular organ which is attached to the floor of buccal cavity. It is having 4 taste buds which is bitter, sour, salty and sweet. Okay, it is a muscular. Why? Because it is not having the bones. It is free to move in all direction. It helps in mixing the saliva and the food. It also helps in digestion of food. So these are the 4 taste buds, and the function I have told you which you have to write. Again I am repeating, it is the muscular organ which is without the bones. It can move in all direction. Its function is to secrete the saliva and helps in mixing of the food as well as saliva, and also helps in swallowing. Then comes the food pipe. The food pipe, which is also called as esophagus, it helps in the transport. It is a type of transport between the mouth and the stomach. From the mouth, the food is transferred to the stomach with the help of esophagus. It is a long, narrow tube which starts from the buccal cavity to the stomach. Then comes the next organ, which is stomach. It is the widest part of alimentary canal. It receives the food from the esophagus and passes it to small intestine. The inner lining of the stomach secretes digestive juices as well as HCl. Enzymes are also present in the stomach. Mucus protects the stomach. Remember this. The enzymes in the stomach break down the food into simpler forms. Then it passes to the small intestine. These are the microorganisms, and HCl which helps in the stomach to break the food. Then in the small intestine the food is passed. Then in the small intestine we have 2 glands. The small intestine, the liver is the largest gland. We have liver as well as pancreas. The liver is the largest gland. It is present below the stomach on the right side. It secretes the bile juice. It is a bag-like structure, and there is a gallbladder present. The bile juice plays an important role in the digestion of fats. The bile juice is stored in a bag-like structure which is called as gallbladder. So gallbladder is there, liver is there, and pancreas are there. Now we come to the pancreas. Pancreas is a leaf-shaped structure and its location is below the stomach. It is secreting pancreatic juice. It acts as proteins, carbohydrates and fats which help to break down them into simpler forms. Now comes the small intestine. First of all we will discuss about the secretion and the absorption of the food. Here in the small intestine I have drawn the diagram of a small intestine, villi. Parts of a small intestine showing villi. Villi is a finger-like projection, okay, which is helping to absorb the food. The small intestine absorbs the digested food. There is villi, finger-like projection, which is increasing the absorption area. The absorbed food passes in the blood vessels. Blood vessels also I have made it here, and the food gets transported to all parts of the body via blood. So this plays an important role. This whole process is called as assimilation. Then comes the large intestine. Large intestine is 1.5 meter long. It is shorter than the small intestine. The undigested food enters the small intestine, and here the excess of water and some minerals are absorbed from the undigested food, and the leftover food is sent to the rectum. Here it is stored and then it is eliminated, means thrown out of the body by the anus process. This whole process is called as egestion. Got it? This whole process starting from large intestine till anus, it is called as egestion, means throwing out of waste products. Now here we will come for the nutrition in cud chewing. Cud means herbivore animals. Maybe we can say example is cow. Cud means like dry grass which they keep on chewing. They are also called as ruminants. Cow, deer, buffalo are common example of ruminants. They have a special four-chambered heart. Cud chewing means which eat dry grass. The first chamber of heart is called as rumen. The animals swallow the food quickly and store inside them. So when they feel hungry, again they bring the food out and they keep on chewing. The rumen has some microorganisms that help in the partial digestion of cellulose. Partial means little bit digestion. Not fully the food is digested because they break it out and they keep on chewing again and again. If you observe the cow, it keeps on moving its mouth again and again. Whenever it feels hungry, it brings out its foods and keeps on chewing. That's why they are called as cud chewing ruminant animals. The ruminants later bring the cud back to their mouth and chew it properly. This process is called as rumination. In this, cellulose is broken down. Then ruminants also have a special bag-like structure between the small intestine as well as large intestine, which is called as caecum. The bacteria present in the caecum helps to further digestion. So this is the location between small intestine and large intestine. Its shape is bag-like structure and bacteria which help in the digestion of food. So these can eat, but we human beings cannot eat the dry grass, or we cannot digest this because cellulose is present. And why we human beings cannot digest the cellulose? Because we don't have this bacteria in our stomach. Only this cud chewing herbivore animals have, so they can digest the cud, but we human beings cannot. So if I ask you the question why human beings cannot eat dry grass or cud, but herbivore animals can eat, because they have the special bacteria which help with the digestion of cellulose. Cellulose which is present in the plants, and only animals are able to digest, not the human beings. Then comes our nutrition in the unicellular organism called amoeba. Amoeba is a microscopic animal which lives in the moist soil. Here the characteristics I have written. It is unicellular and it lives in the moist soil. It can change its shape. Now how can it change its shape? With the help of false feet called pseudopodia. Here I have written false feet. Means it can change its feet shape also. Whenever it sees the food, it opens the feet, captures the food, and then again the feet is invisible. That's why it is called false feet. That is called pseudopodia. Amoeba feeds on small microscopic animals called bacteria and algae. When amoeba comes in contact with the food, it take out its pseudopodia around the food particle, and the food particle is get trapped inside the food vacuole. Food vacuole here I have written, in which they trap the food. Digestive juices are secreted and then they digest the food. The digested food energy is absorbed by the amoeba, and undigested food present from the food vacuole is thrown out. Means digestion and egestion both are happening where? In the food vacuole in the amoeba. So throwing out of waste product from the body, it is called as egestion. Either it is unicellular amoeba or multicellular human being. So here in amoeba, food vacuole is responsible, which does the digestion as well as the egestion of the food. So thank you children, this was our lesson. I expect you to draw the flow charts, whatever I have said, and you have to listen carefully and draw the flow charts, and assignments will be given according wise which you have to do and submit me by Sunday. Thank you.